Welcome back to Outside Views, and bro, we need to talk. And I want to start today's video with a question. A question that, to my mind, cuts right to the heart of what's happening in British politics right now. It's a profound contradiction, a puzzle that seems utterly baffling from the outside, and I suspect even from within. And here it is. How can it be that approval for Brexit has fallen to a historic low? We're talking a mere 29% approval in some polls, while at the exact same time, the party of Brexit's most famous architect, Nigel Farage, is leading in the polls. How can more and more people regret Brexit and yet simultaneously flock to the very man who championed it? That's a paradox, and it's what I want to explore today because, in my view, it's not just a quirk of British politics, it's a symptom of a much deeper, more emotional and ideological struggle. It reveals a country still grappling with its identity, with its place in the world, and with the immense fallout of a decision made nearly a decade ago. It shows that, for many, this isn't about the numbers. It's about something far more personal and visceral. Let's first talk about the regret phenomenon. This isn't a surprise to me, of course. The reasons for this widespread disillusionment are, in my opinion, painfully clear. The promises of Brexit, those big, bold, and frankly beautiful sounding promises, have simply not been fulfilled. And you'll remember them. A flood of new trade deals, a revitalized economy, and crucially, a return to full control over the country's borders and immigration. But what's the reality on the ground? The economic promise of a strong, booming economy post-Brexit has, for many, turned out to be a hollow one. The Office for Budget Responsibility estimates a long-term 4% hit to national income and a staggering 15% reduction in trade volume. We talked about this many times. And these aren't just figures in a report. They are felt in the daily lives of people across the country. We've seen businesses, and particularly the small and medium-sized enterprises, struggle with increased bureaucracy and customs paperwork. The number of customs forms they have to deal with has, in some estimates, quadrupled, at an extra cost of billions a year to the economy. It's an economic drag that just won't go away. And what about the other central promise, the one about taking back control and stopping uncontrolled immigration? That has also, by all accounts, failed to deliver on this promise. In fact, official statistics show that net migration actually increased in the years following the referendum. And this, I think, is a particularly bitter pill for many, especially the Leave voters. And they were told that leaving the EU would solve this issue, only to find that immigration, for a host of complex global and domestic reasons, continued to rise. So when you put it all together, economic stagnation, frustrating bureaucracy, and a failure to deliver on the core immigration promise, it's no wonder that a significant portion of the population now feels let down. They feel the effects of a decision that they were told would improve their lives, but which for many has simply made things harder. This is the raw, emotional fuel for what some are calling regret, and it's a very real and powerful force in the country today. And this brings us to the second, and in my view, most fascinating part of the story: the appeal of Nigel Farage and his Reform UK party. If people are regretting Brexit, why are they turning to the men who gave it to them? And the answer, I believe, is that Farage is no longer just the spokesperson for Brexit success. He has become something else entirely. He is the vessel for a much broader, much deeper frustration with the entire political establishment. Farage has a unique and, dare I say, almost cynical gift for channeling voters' anger. He positions himself not as a politician who failed, but as the only one who truly understood the original mandate. He claims that it was the political class, first the Conservatives and now the Labour government of Keir Starmer, that betrayed the will of the people. He argues that they failed to implement Brexit correctly, that they sold out the country, and that they are responsible for the current state of affairs. And this is a brilliant, if troubling, political strategy. By framing the issue this way, he gives people who regret Brexit a new enemy. He's not the bad guy, the establishment is. He offers them a narrative that allows them to maintain their beliefs that the core idea of Brexit was good, but that it was simply let down by the very people they trusted to implement it. It's a way for a voter to say, I still believe in taking back control, but I've lost faith in everyone else to do it. Farage is my only hope. He is representing a more radical, more uncompromising form of populism that promises to finally deliver on the original promises, particularly on the issue of migration, which remains a key concern for his supporters. And this is where the political consequences get truly dramatic. The voters who are now switching from the Conservatives and even from Labour to Reform UK are not voting against Brexit. They are in fact doubling down on the core ideology. They are voting for a more radical, more populist and more untamed version of what they originally believed in. This is having a devastating effect on the Conservative Party, fragmenting the right-wing vote and leaving them scrambling for a new identity. The party that delivered Brexit is now, in many ways, being devoured by its own creation. And what about the current Labour government? They are caught in a classic political dilemma. Under Keir Starmer, they have taken a very pragmatic and, from my perspective, in many cases, a very sensible approach. They acknowledge that Brexit is the reality and that they have to make it work, although, how they put it, it will never work. But still, they are trying at least to mitigate the economic damage by seeking a stronger, closer alignment with the EU trade regulations. They are working on deals to reduce bureaucracy and make trade with the rest of Europe a little less painful. And this is a pragmatic, problem-solving approach. It's about fixing a part of the mess. But in doing so, they are constantly walking a tightrope. Starmer and his ministers have to talk about making Brexit a success, which it never will be though, while also trying to fix its clear and present problems. They are trying to bridge the gap between economic necessities and political realities. On one hand, their pragmatic stance could support the economy in the long run, at least a bit, and on the other, they risk being seen by the disillusioned voters as a traitor to the will of the Brexit voters. Farage and his party are more than happy to present this narrative, proposing a real Brexit that they claim Starmer is undermining, which is complete BS. A real Brexit, in his sense, would have crushed the economy, but never mind. They are preying on the very same frustration that Starmer is trying to address, but doing so with a much more fiery and uncompromising rhetoric. The fact that Farage can so effectively capitalize on the disappointment over Brexit is, to me, the clearest sign that the UK is still in the throes of a profound identity crisis. The country is still struggling to reconcile the promises of the past with the realities of the present. Voters are dissatisfied and they are looking for a voice that they feel speaks for them, a voice that validates their frustration. They are not entirely convinced that either of the two main parties can truly represent them or fix the deep-seated problems they feel. Farage, as the outsider, as the disruptor, is benefiting from this uncertainty. His bluntness, which many in the political mainstream would call dangerous or divisive, is seen by his supporters as a breath of fresh air. He is the person who they feel is saying what others are too scared to say. And that's a powerful and dangerous appeal. And he has a unique ability to connect with people who are pessimistic about the state of the country and who feel left behind by the political establishment. His support base is now broader and more mainstream, attracting not just the traditional right-wing Eurosceptics, but also working-class voters from all over, united by a sense of delusionment and a shared focus on migration. He's no longer just a fringe figure. He is, for the time being, the leader of a major political force. Ultimately, this situation is a testament to the enduring power of narrative. The Brexit promise, for all its unfulfilled reality, has a hold on the public imagination that is still incredibly strong. And as long as a figure like Farage can convince people that the original idea was sound and only the implementation was flawed, he will continue to pose a serious challenge to the political status quo. The UK is stuck in a loop, a cycle of regret and defiance, and it's a loop that, from where I'm sitting, seems to be getting more volatile by the day. And I'm quite looking forward to your opinion on this topic, so please write in the comments below the video. And if you want to see another video right now, the next one is right here in the end screen.